Welcome, fight fans! MMA Station is here to bring you another epic combat story. In this episode, we will talk about the best karate masters who have ever stepped into the UFC octagon. Get ready, and let's go. If you open any greatest of all time ranking, the names of George St-Pierre, Lyoto Machida, and Stephen Thompson will always pop up on the top of the list. The accomplishments and records of this trio in the UFC have remained unrivaled for decades, and their unique way of fighting will always be remembered for its precision, excellence, and timing. Just like most karate masters all over the world, GSP, Lyoto Machida, and Stephen Thompson remained humble and respectful throughout their reign. Even when trash talking gradually became the norm, they all embodied the virtues of discipline they practiced. The trio faced some of the sport's biggest trash talkers, yet they did not badmouth them. This unique humility can be traced to their karate training routines instilled in the classes by example and role model behavior not only while fighting, but also outside of the dojo. George St-Pierre is considered as one of the world's first true great MMA athletes. There had been many great athletes in MMA before him, especially ones that thrived at a certain craft, such as grappling or striking. Still, no fighter had figured out the science of not specializing in one or two particular fighting methods, but considering the whole of mixed martial arts as one form of discipline. From boxing to Muay Thai, takedowns to takedown defense, MMA wrestling to grappling, top game to the guard, explosiveness to cardio, GSP excelled in all aspects and had no clear weakness to exploit. As his coach John Donner had once said, he was never the best striker, wrestler, or jiu-jitsu player, but he was unique in combining everything so fast at such a pace that nobody could figure his game out. You could simply not outstrike the guy. You could not stop his takedowns. But if you could, he would outwork you until you needed more oxygen than he did. Most importantly, GSP accomplished all that in a division full of great contenders at a time when there was no shortage of the next great knockout artist or wrestler while maintaining great composure. GSP learned karate from his dad at a very young age. Then, at the age of 16, he started doing BJJ and boxing. For a long time, he struggled to find jobs. He worked as a sanitation worker and bouncer for a short period of time. He decided to do something where he would put his fighting talents to use. He is a true MMA pioneer and one of the most complete fighters to step into the octagon. While in the UFC, GSP had only 2 losses in his career, one to Matt Hughes and one to Matt Serra, whom he annihilated in the rematches. Then he came back after a 4-year layoff, and without even having a tune-up fight, he not only took on, but moved up in weight class and beat the middleweight champion of the UFC, Michael Bisping, via submission. Throughout his glamorous career, GSP is among the rare examples of how a fighter can be a popular without all the trash talking and pathetic controversies, focusing most of fight fans' attention on his fighting performance, preparation, and outstanding skill set in every aspect of throughout MMA game. GSP can jab you like Superman and take you down like a bear. To be fair, his fight IQ eclipses any fighter that has ever stepped foot into the octagon. GSP ranks number 1 for the most wins in title bouts, which is 13, and he has the second longest streak as champion, and once again, let's not forget, he has never lost it. He's only the 4th fighter in the organization to be a multi-division champion. GSP has the most wins in UFC history at 20, tying Michael Bisping. This man typifies what true professionalism is all about and is considered by many as the best fighter MMA has ever encountered. Besides, no matter how much money he's made or how successful he's been, he's always remained the same humble George St-Pierre we all know. His most memorable fight was the rematch against Matt Serra at UFC 83. Before this time, the French-Canadian legend had lost his welterweight title to Serra via knockout at the UFC 69. GSP had to wait for a year before he could exert his revenge on Serra. GSP admitted that losing to Serra affected him badly, and he had to see a sports psychologist to get on track. The fight held in GSP's hometown, and defeating Serra helped him gain his Canadian fans' respect. Having retired from the professional fighting scene in 2017, St-Pierre had been busy working with young people and encouraging them to be their best. As a true martial artist, he trains every day and always looks in perfect shape. It's interesting to hear that GSP is considering a return to combat sports. He made his intentions known in 2022 before the Paul Silva fight and is now reportedly planning to return to the fighting scene in the UFC Grappling Pass series at the end of 2023. He's been frequently seen in New Wave Jiu-Jitsu headquarters rolling with Gordon Ryan, Nicholas Marigelli, Giancarlo Bodoni, and the rest of John Donner's grappling superstars. It looks like he's preparing for a grappling match under the UFC Fight Pass grappling rules, and there will be nothing more exciting than seeing this great martial artist back on the fight scene. Now let's move to the next karate master who cemented his name as an MMA legend. But before that, as always, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the MMA action. Son of Master Yoshizo Machida, Lyoto Machida is a Shotokan 3rd degree black belt by way of his father, who was an accomplished Shotokan instructor. Lyoto began training in karate at the age of 3 and earned his black belt at the age of 13. Lyoto also has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His striking technique is typical of Shotokan karate practitioners, a predominance of linear technique combined with timing and distance control. It often made for boring exchanges as he kept distance from his opponent and shifted away to avoid contact before rapidly closing distance on the counterattack with his front kicks and straight punches. But every style can be countered by a skilled opponent. They figured him out and learned to wait for him instead of attacking, missing, and then getting countered hard. Many of his later bouts had long pauses in action with booing from the crowd as Machida's opponents learned to wait him out, circled, and moved in without feints and very little striking contact. Many people didn't like his seemingly safe style, taking no damage and just dishing out to win decisions. Of course, when he knocked people out, it was usually some of the best and most vicious knockouts out there. Rashad doing the stocky leg kick, or Thiago Silva going to sleep in the last seconds. The Machida-Evans fight is one of the most memorable fights. Machida knocked out Evans at the UFC 98 to become the UFC light heavyweight champion. Machida and Evans came into this fight with undefeated records. The first round was a little uneventful. Both fighters were throwing feints to try to get the other to make a mistake, but neither fighter would break. That was the case until Machida connected with a minute left in the first round with a kick to the body and a straight left to the chin that dropped Evans to the canvas. However, Evans was able to regain his composure and get back to his feet. The second round was similar to the first. Both fighters searched for their range, hoping the other would make a mistake. A flurry of exchanges midway through the round where both fighters connected big shots. However, near the end of the round, Machida landed a left to the chin of Evans that buckled his legs. Evans would get back up and try to recover, but Machida put his foot on the gas and threw relentlessly. Machida landed multiple punches and got Evans up against the cage, and that is where the end came. Machida was able to land a clean left hook to the chin of Evans that shut his lights off. Evans was knocked out for the first time in his career, and Machida became the UFC's light heavyweight champion at 3 minutes and 57 seconds of the second round. At the moment, the 45-year-old karateka is still interested in competing. Machida is hoping to get one more fight before walking away from the MMA. Machida's most recent fight was under the Bellator promotion. The former champion is now a free agent and desires at least one more fight before hanging up the gloves. Machida was last seen in May of 2022 at Bellator 281, where he suffered a first-round knockout loss to Fabian Edwards. With that said, let's finish with something special. A true karate masterpiece. But before that, as always, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the MMA action. Stephen Thompson is undoubtedly one of the best strikers in the sport of MMA. The man's focus, alertness, cardio, fluidity of movement, accuracy, speed, combinations, and angle striking is currently the best in the UFC. On top of that, he is the most humble, polite, and honest individual one could ever meet. The man doesn't even use swear words and is impossible to upset. His record will tell anyone how good he is. Even George St-Pierre complimented his fighting style, saying that Wonderboy is a great and professional striker. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a high-level UFC welterweight fighter who is one of the very best examples of a fighter who has used karate as a base style to achieve success in MMA. Thompson has wonderful footwork, springing in and out of range of his opponents to land shots. He's done a fantastic job blending and modifying his karate style with other aspects of MMA. Stephen Thompson started his combat sports journey at the age of 3 when his father taught him karate. He began competing in karate and kickboxing by the age of 15 and was ranked number 1 in the World Combat League. Stephen had an impressive 58-0 record in kickboxing that saw him capture 15 championships from 1999 to 2005. Wonderboy eventually transitioned to MMA and debuted in 2010 at Fight Party Greenville Cage Fighting against Jeremy Joles. Stephen won the bout in the second round via TKO and proceeded to win his next 4 fights in Fight Party before joining the UFC in 2012. One of Thompson's most notable fights was meeting with Jake Ellenberger in July of 2015. Thompson was on an amazing 4-win streak when he squared off against Ellenberger in the final series. The American native pulled off one of his best performances in the fight in his UFC career. Ellenberger almost knocked out Thompson in the opening exchanges. However, Thompson quickly bounced back and finished Ellenberger with an impressive spinning kick to the head in the bout's first round. Thompson began the fight with his regular sideways stance, his hands at his sides clenched in the karate style that saw him go 57-0 in amateur and professional kickboxing matches prior to entering UFC. The style almost cost him the match as Ellenberger dropped him with a right hand that saw his knees go out under Wonderboy and force him to clinch with the wrestler against the cage. Despite the setback, Thompson managed to land a flush spinning right heel kick to the jaw of Ellenberger that sent him to the canvas. Towards the end of the first round, Thompson landed another spinning right heel kick to the forehead of Ellenberger. It put him down again, and this time, the referee jumped in to prevent any further damage to Ellenberger. Thompson is still active in the welterweight division of the UFC. He was supposed to meet with Michael Pereira at the UFC 291, but the bout got cancelled when Pereira missed weight at the official weigh-ins. The fight would have been Thompson's first appearance in 2023. The 2-time UFC welterweight title challenger was victorious in his lone appearance of 2022, defeating Kevin Holland via TKO this past December. Together, GSP, Lyoto Machida, and Stephen Thompson transcend the title of champions. They represent a level of excellence that may be unparalleled for generations. Their indelible mark on combat sports is a testament to their dedication and passion. As the years unfold, their legacies will continue to inspire, reminding us that true greatness extends beyond physical prowess. It encompasses character, intelligence, true respect towards the opponent no matter what, and an unrelenting pursuit of excellence. And that wraps up another fight story with MMA Station. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. Thank you for joining us on this incredible ride. Until next time, stay hungry, stay passionate, and keep supporting the world of combat sports.